Good evening, NABJ. Good evening to everyone. I think we're just about ready to start. I want to make sure I get the official okay from the technical people here. Vanessa and Kanya, we good?
Yes, we are. Thank you, Angela.
Thank you. And as I said before, good evening to everyone, and so glad that you all could connect with us tonight. This is Angela Robinson, Director of Operations for NABJ. We know more folks will be coming on, and so that's just fine, but we want to honor our time and everyone's precious time. This is the first of two walkthrough sessions, if you will, that we're trying to prepare for as we prepare, NABJ prepares to open up our sessions portal. We will be opening it up November 19th. And so we just kind of wanted to walk through some of the procedure, have you meet some of your co-chairs for our program for 2022 and take any questions. I want to let you know that we're going to say some things, say them again, and say them one more time so that everybody will have as much information as they possibly can have, and also to let you know that this indeed is being recorded. And so you will get a link to go back and browse and re-listen and walk yourself through as many times as you like. This is the first one we'll have. We'll have another one next week on the 18th. More than welcome to come back, and we'll walk through the same kind of procedure. Just a couple of things, and then I want to introduce our chairs. As I said, you are in great hands with this team at NABJ as we proceed with our 2022 programs. I want to say right now, the $45 question, how I wish I had an answer. Are we virtual? Or are we on site? Do not know. We just don't know. But we still have to prepare for our programming, as you know, and we will still be using the same kinds of procedures virtually, or whether or not we're on site. As soon as we know, we promise we will let the membership know, because we're eager to find out ourselves and move forward. I don't know about anybody else on this Zoom. I need to be on site. I'm looking forward to that. So hopefully we can make that happen. 2022 is a combined convention with NAHJ, just in case folks forgot. So we're excited about that. It is indeed, if we're on site, in Las Vegas. And so we will, like I said, as soon as we know something definitive and confirmed, we will let the membership know. The portal, AI, where you submit, just like you submitted last year, and for our awards, is the same portal. We've added a few extra features and a few things you need to pay close attention to. Vanessa Johnson-Evans, our senior program manager who's with us, and also Kanya Stewart, our communications director, will walk you through it. But I just want to give you a heads up now. If you take your time, read it through, you really can't get to the next page until you finish up what you have on this one page. Very simple, but still we have to do our due diligence and look at all the detail and just take your time filling out your session request. Let me see. Also, we're going to keep in mind, and of course, this will happen way down the road as we deal with a number of slots that we will have, and also a number of slots that NAHJ will have. But there will be plenty of time and plenty of opportunity for you to submit as many ideas as you possibly can. We'll walk through the portal, but we also want to give you some tips on strategy as well to make sure that your session, which is the one, actually gets in, and it's great material with all the details that the programming committee will need as they go through hundreds stacks of session options. It is a joy and a thrill for me to introduce our programming chairs, and just so excited that they indeed said yes when NABJ made the call. I'm going to start with my sister Tia Mitchell, based here in the best city of all, Atlanta, Georgia. Yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and do that plug because I'm still celebrating being a world champion. She is head, I'm sure you all know her, a lot of people know her, longstanding member and head of our political task force. And she does all that great national news of the AJC and so many other outlets. And so it's great to have Tia on board. And also a member who I've known forever. It's good. He's been busy doing great things in KC and in his life. And now I called him one day and I said, you need to get back in the fold, my brother. And he said, yes, Glenn Rice. So we're so happy to have you back in our fold and as our chair, co-chair. Glenn was on the committee last year, so he's got some great tips to share as well. The committee members on our side, Lisa Cox, one of our members. She is here in the Atlanta area with CNN. Chris Nelson is also, and he's been on the committee for a while, so he'll have some great tips to help all of us as well. And also Christopher Brooks joins our committee for programming. These people are outstanding. They're dedicated. They will make sure everything is just right. It is also a great joy always to work with these two folks from the staff, all of the staff, but especially Vanessa Johnson Evans and Kanya Stewart. Great sisters dedicated to this organization. And I'm going to hand it over right now to Vanessa. She will give you some more tips and walk you through. First, before I do that, Glenn and Tia, anything you want to say right now up top? Excuse me, co-chairs. Anything you want to share right quick? Tia?
Oh, can everyone, sorry. So I just wanted to briefly say, number one, welcome to everyone who's on the call. And my biggest thing that I hope people take away from these trainings is be the change you want to see. We always hear concerns about programming not meeting the needs of the vast diaspora that is NABJ, that Black journalists we have so many different interests and so many different career trajectories and so many different people we want to hear from. And of course we can't do it all, but this is the opportunity to submit workshops that speak directly to you, directly to your peers, that meet the needs that perhaps you didn't see in prior years. Please submit your ideas. If you need assistance picking panelists, or you need assistance fleshing out your ideas, we are here to help. But the main thing is we want your ideas. Thank you.
Thank you, Tia. Glenn.
Yeah, thank you so much, Angela, and thank you for joining us this evening. I want to echo what Tia said, kind of be creative, kind of think outside the box. Also make sure, when you submit that you're thorough and just, have fun with it. You just never know. Your workshop could be selected. So it's a pleasure and an honor to be asked. And so when President Tucker asked me to come on board, I said, yes. So I didn't have time much to think about it, and just an opportunity and an honor and privilege to serve. So thank you so much again.
Thank you both. Thank you so very, very much. Again, like I said, we're going to tell you a few things, tell you again, and tell you one more time. Once again, this session will be recorded. You will get a link. Our next training is also November 18th. And I want to say, and Vanessa will also point out, when you start your session process, don't panic if you don't have everything right away. You will be able to go back and forth in that form several times, as long as you meet a deadline. And I promise you, we're going to stick to deadlines. And as long as you don't hit submit until you're really ready that this is the workshop you want to submit, you are good to go. With that, Vanessa Johnson Evans, our Senior Program Manager, will start the demonstration with the portal. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Angela. And good evening, everyone. I'm going to screen share so we can see the portal, pages of the portal. All right. So when you first open and enter the session portal, you will come to this screen here, which is the welcome screen. Please note on the welcome screen, we do have the deadline. The deadline is midnight PT on Friday, March the 4th, 2022. Members, NABJ members will use their NABJ member credentials to log into the portal. If you have forgotten your member login credentials, please contact membership@nabj.org, and we will be able to reset those passwords for you, and it will translate back into the system. Because we have anticipated high volume of session submissions, we are limiting the amount of session submissions to 2 per member. However, as Angela said, if you have more than 2 session proposals, please ask another member to submit that additional proposal. When you enter the system, we also advise you to please have the following information available at your leisure, and that is the session title, the description, track, short bios for your moderator and panelists, the social media handles for your moderator and panelists, headshots. And so you could, once you have all that information, you can easily walk through this process. Because this is a combined meeting with NAHJ, the programming committees for both organizations will work together to review the session proposals that are duplicates and combine them. So again, before you enter the step 1 through 8, you will have to enter your username and password for NABJ. Once you do, you enter to the portal and we go to step 1. Step 1 is to submit your session proposal title. Your title has to be 15 words or less. The system will not allow you to go over 15 words. The title also must clearly communicate the point of the session and draw interest. And Kanya will go over that later in the process when she goes over the marketing tips to you. We also ask if it's a hands-on demonstration. If it's a hands-on demonstration, you'll select yes. If not, you'll select no. Once you finish this step, you click the word save and you go to step 2 of 8. Step 2 of 8 is to enter your organizer, moderator, panelist information, sign disclaimers, enter your bios, headshots, and social media handles. The first step is for you to note if you are the organizer or not. If you're the organizer of this session proposal, you'll select yes. If you're not, select no, and it will be another screen to allow you to enter the session organizer information. The next step is for you to add the panelists. Here you can add panelists from, if you have NABJ members who are panelists, you'll be able to select from a listing of those people, or you can enter their names too. Moderators. You'll be able to add your moderators as well. And again, this is a highlighted item here. Excuse me. Moderators must be members in good standing. Under each section, add panelists and add moderators, there will be disclaimers for you to sign. The disclaimers are to make you to note that the panelists and the moderators are acknowledged that they are aware that they are on the panel. It reviews the registration benefits and the responsibilities of each person. Once you complete this step, you go to the next part of the entering the information about your panelists and moderator. And that is the bios and social media handles. The bio has to be a short bio, 150 words or less. And please have your session moderator and panelists approve the bios first, because we will not be able to update that information. Social media handles. We do ask for you to enter the Twitter and LinkedIn social media handles. If you don't have them, you can note NA so you can move forward to the next step. Once you finish this section, you go to step 3 of 8. That's to enter your session description. Your session description, the limitation is 100 words or less. There will be a word count once you start entering the information, so you can refer to how many words you've inputted so far. We ask that you please proofread your session description. Once you finish this entering the information, you click save and you move to the next step. And this is step 4 of 8. And this is to enter your session tracks. We have 14 session tracks available for you to select from. You must select at least one track, but you can select up to 2 from this listing here. The system will not allow you to to check more than 2 tracks. The next step, once you finish this step here, you click Save. You go to the next step. And this is step 5 of 8. And this is to enter your takeaways. You must at least enter at least 1 takeaway. And but however you can list it up to 2. And there'll be a section here in this blank spot on the portal that will allow you to enter the information. And again, please proofread your information once you put in your takeaways. Once you finish this step, you put save and go to the next step. The next step is 6 to 8 is to upload the moderator and panelist headshots. We ask that you please name the file by the moderator and panelist name. For example, if you have someone Mary Johnson JPEG, so we can easily identify that person's image or picture to their name. Required format and size. Each headshot has to be high res, and we do ask that it be a professional headshot. The acceptable formats are JPEG and PNG, and the size of the file must be no more than 5 megabytes or minimum 1 meg file size. Once you finish that, uploading all of your headshots, you put save, and you go to the next step. The next step, 7 or 8, is the preview. This step will allow you to review your submission information that you've done from 1 through 6. And you'll also be able to print your information as well. If you need to adjust any information, you can go back to the tabs at the top and to adjust the information if needed. Once you finish this step, you go to step 8 of 8, submitting your submission. We ask that you please do not announce your proposed session until you have the official acceptance notice from the NABJ. Again, as Angela noted, if you are not ready to submit, don't worry. Your information has been saved and you can go back to submit by the deadline, which is midnight PT on Friday, March the 4th, 2022. If you do accidentally submit it, you can also go back and withdraw that submission and start over. But again, the deadline is midnight PT on Friday, March the 4th, 2022. And we want you to remember these items here. NABJ maintains editorial control over all content. And also we ask that you do not use the NABJ logo or NABJ NAHJ 22 convention logo on your platform without the approval of press@nabj.org. Once you do submit it, you will receive a confirmation email. It's important that you keep that confirmation email for your files. Again, decisions will be made in May 2022, and an NABJ programs team will contact everyone who submitted a proposal if you have accepted or non-accepted. On all pages of the portal, it will be the information here if you need assistance. For technical assistance, you will contact our vendor, Attendy Interactive. They will be available from Monday through Friday, 9 to 5 p.m. by phone or by email. For membership questions, you will contact membership@nabj.org. And if you have general programming questions, you will contact programming@nabj.org. Okay, thank you. And again, if you have any questions, we'll entertain questions at the end of this session.
Thank you, Vanessa. Just once again, this is recorded. You'll get a link. As Vanessa said, when we conclude, before we call it a night, we will take your questions, put them in the little Q&A, little chat thingy, not chat, but Q&A box down at the bottom of your Zoom. And I also just wanted to do one quick other housekeeping bit. I mentioned your program committee members, Lisa Cox at CNN, forgot to mention that Christopher Nelson is with the News Nation Network, and Christopher Brooks is with CBS Money Watch. Want to give everybody their props where they are and that they're on board. Once again, put your questions in the Q&A slot. As you can see, and just to let you know, because we're combined, we want to make sure that both programming committee folks and chairs, once we get all of the sessions in, NAHJ gets all of theirs in, we'll come together just because we want to make sure we do have robust programming for everyone. Keep in mind, everyone can attend every session if you so choose. We just want to make sure that it's robust, and that it is just very exciting. And as Glenn and Tia mentioned, something that perhaps you hadn't thought about before. Glenn, I'm going to turn to you now before Kanya comes in, because like I said, you were on our committee last year. You might have some good little tips, some challenges, some way to say, hey, that's the one. Go ahead, Glenn. Thanks.
Yeah. Thank you so much, Angela. Yeah, just wanted some things that I want to kind of bring out, some things that we saw last year with last year's proposal is, we want to make sure that your titles are compelling, that you in essence don't bury the lead of what the true essence of what the session is about. As Tia mentioned, be the change you want to have an NABJ. You have an innovative, creative idea. Make sure that that's really clearly spelled out. Summaries is another area. Think those through as thorough as possible. All the tidbits, and make sure your I's are dotted, your T's are crossed, and just really kind of think about what is it you want the attendee to pull from just reading that. Hey, I want to go to that session. A couple of years ago, I'm dating myself. At one convention, there were 2 sessions conducted by the Poynter Institute. One was by Karen Brown. Again, I'm dating myself, on writing short. And, all journalists want to be able to write short, complete, concise, good copy, whether it's print, broadcast, or whatever. So those things are kind of really, while that may not be a very sexy title, but it really compelled me to, as a journalist, as a reporter, to trim the fat out of my copy. Another session they did, I still remember, was everything I learned about writing. I learned from listening to the Temptations, Marvin Gaye, and so forth. And the gentleman who put that on was Roy Peter Clark. And when you went to a session that was in this large room, and it's almost like a lounge, and he sat at a piano playing music, and it talked about how words have rhythm and so forth. So things like that, be innovative. Sometimes the sessions, the descriptions aren't innovative enough to, again, compel the participant to take time out of their day to walk one spot to the convention center to the other just to sit into your session. So think along those lines. Also have very compelling, interesting, engaging panelists. Have a diversity of panelists. A lot of us know each other from years of being in NABJ, whether within your region, within your chapter, but also kind of think of people who could bring a lot of gravitas to the subject. Make sure there are some sessions that don't have any tangible takeaways. Make sure that those things are things you could take away from the session that people want you to really once you walk away with, that's something in their hand that even sometimes follow. Sometimes those things didn't make the cut because those workshop proposals didn't have that element in there. Also, when you don't work through your task forces and so forth, even look at some of the programming that's done in previous years and think along those lines. Now, I am not a broadcast journalist, although I play one on television. The art of the live shot. My friends and I in Kansas City, we often talk about we don't need another art of the live shot. So if you're at this level and you still need to think about how to improve your live shot, then you're in a lot of trouble. So kind of think of those along those lines. Be imaginative. What are some of the challenges that you have in your newsroom right now that you want to see or discuss? Things that you want to bring to your tool belt. Those things that you need to have. Those are some of the challenges that I thought maybe some workshops that we looked at, Christopher and Lisa and I looked at and say, yeah, that didn't make the cut, and here's the reasons why. And so, and also kind of get feedback from staff and in terms of what they think works best. We're here to help. We don't want to leave no workshop that's good on the floor. And so just kind of be mindful of what you're doing and make sure that you're very thorough. And as we mentioned before, that everything's kind of really tight and put together and so forth. So that's, what I would suggest. Again, as this process continues, we'll probably have some more ideas and what some of the challenges that we saw last year with some of the proposals that were submitted. So again, thank you for the opportunity. And again, if there are questions, I'll be more than happy to entertain those at the appropriate time. So I'll turn it back over to Angela.
Thanks so much, Glenn. And just to reiterate, put your questions in the Q&A slot. We promise we will answer each and every one after our presentation. Just to remind everybody once again about robust programming, and just to say, it doesn't matter if we're virtual on site, everyone registered at the convention can attend each and every session if they so like, if they so desire. No one is going to be left out. You're registered for the convention, you can attend the session. We do know there's some programming and some events that are sponsor and partner related that are invitation only. But our member sessions are open to everyone, and that's with NAHJ and NABJ as well. Just to also piggyback before I bring forth Kanya, who has a great demonstration to show you as well, as Glenn was saying, strategy about your placement. Some people were getting a little concerned because they could only enter 2. Well, we only have so many slots. And I know virtually thinks that you could have like 100 at 10 o'clock. Well, you really can't. So we want to make sure that, as Glenn was saying, they're all great and intriguing. But we've also found that a couple of task force get together, and they really mastered this well to make sure that ideas and concepts at least get into the mix. Our sports task force, our A&E task force, our weather task force, now brand new task force last year. Several members got a chance to enter, and they all entered. And of course, the bigger the volume, something is bound to hit. And they had several, and they were just all really good and different and stuff we hadn't thought about, and very much intriguing. And as Glenn mentioned, a lot of takeaways. And that's always helpful, particularly if we're virtual again, because we are all sitting in front of this computer for so long, for so many hours each day. It's nice to have a treat at the end, as I say. So those are just some other tips. Give you some more tips. I'm going to bring on now Kanya Stewart, our NABJ Communications Director. She's got a great demonstration for you as well. Thank you, Kanya. And Kanya, I'm going to need you to come off mute.
Thank you.
No worries.
That's part of Zoom fatigue, right? We forget.
Oh, indeed.
But thank you, Angela. I just want to take a few minutes to go over a few marketing tips. I often get questions from our members about how to market their sessions and get their sessions out there. So I just wanted to come on and say hello and share my screen with some quick tips to help you on your way in the process. So I will share my screen now. Okay, great. So basically, I call this the circle of visibility because it's just a quick way to remember how to make your session more visible. A lot of people think that right when convention is about to start, we should cram and get graphics out and promote the session. But actually your session and making it marketable starts at the planning process, as Glenn and Angela pointed out. So these are some tips that as you go along preparing your session and submitting them to remember, so that when you turn your session in and if it gets approved, all the resources that are needed to get the word out is already built into your proposal. So again, like Glenn said, your event title matters. People don't have time sometimes to read summaries. They don't have time to read the speaker information, but they do read the titles. If you notice, we always announce the session titles before we release the full schedule. So if you have an on-point title at the early stages, you have a more of a chance of someone writing down in their calendar to attend your session. So don't overcompensate. Don't use too much jargon. As Glenn said, make sure people understand what the session is about. So for example, if you're going to call your session I Stand, we know that's a popular term on social media. People know what that means, but that doesn't tell me anything. But if you say, I stand, women to watch in digital media, then that's a way of saying, hey, this is about the women that we're cheering on and that we think you should follow too. So it's just a little bit of finessing that it takes to get your session a little bit more visible with the title. Don't make it too long, and don't try to, add too much in there. Like, just let it be, let it flow, let it breathe, and let it be exactly what the person needs to know to join your session. The next tip is you use your magnets. Glenn and Angela both again address your speakers, your panelists, and your moderator are your magnets. So your moderator should be just as upbeat and personable as your panel. And you want your panel to be the experts, the influencers, and the well-versed people in the industry that people follow on social media that they want to hear from. Not saying anyone is less important than the other, but people, your speakers market your session too, because people want to know who is the person presenting. So just make sure that when you're picking your speakers that they're going to work well on your panel, work well together, and that they'll be able to drop those gems of knowledge that people are looking for. Keep it simple. The bios, sometimes we don't realize it, but when we try to have really, really long titles and really, really long bios, people look at it as pomp and circumstance. They look like this person is like over, telling about themselves, like can I relate to them? So you want to make sure that the bio says who the person is, what they do, and keep it to that. It doesn't have to go into your whole life story because there's not space for that. But also the person is looking for someone they can hear from that they can connect to. So you want to make sure that the bios and the titles that you submit are in agreement with your panel, like Vanessa said, but also make sense to the attendee. Also, going over to the right side of the circle is relevant and timely topics. Like Glenn said, don't use topics that, people we hear from all the time that people are going to get fatigued about going to. Look for something that matters to them now. We know that convention is not until August, but what do you think people go through that are going to be going through that they want to learn more about, that they need expertise from, that they need advice from? So just make sure that the topic is a now topic as much as possible, or a universal topic that can last and that can make a long impact. Again, with your descriptions, Glenn and Angela also pointed to that. Keep it easy, short, and sweet. I'm the one who has to copy edit these descriptions, and boy, oh boy, sometimes they can be very long, and then that causes you to have more errors because you're making it too long. So try to keep it short and make it something people can consume, that they can read it and get it right away, because you only have a few minutes to get their attention. So even though it's in writing, they're not going to keep going back to the website over and over again, reading your session description. So remember that this is just like a commercial. You want to get their attention the first time. Also, again, the high quality professional speaker photos. We get photos that sometimes are very low resolution, or people who are not, they are not kind of in a professional demeanor. Sometimes the photo is too casual. And so I think that people are looking to hear from experts in the industry. So you want to make sure that photo presents them properly. Also, if you are turning on everything on time, we will have a chance to possibly market some of the sessions. So it's great for the staff to be able to access powerful photos and access good descriptions, because that helps us if we can market some of the sessions. And also remember that they want to know what's in it for me. Back over to the left side of the circle, something to take away. Make sure that your title and your description let them know that when they leave your session, they will be empowered. Let them know that they're going to walk away with something, that it's not going to be a waste of an hour for them. And our last 2 points in the circle, the early bird gets the worm. Meet your deadlines. Those deadlines matter, not just for making sure your session gets in, but if you fulfill all of the requirements, it's easier for us to say, oh, these sessions are ready. We can put these on the website now. We can put these out, on our announcements. But if they're not ready, then only the people who have done all the work and gotten everything in on time will be the people that we will be able to pull their session topics into our marketing. So that's another way to get the word out early. And last but not least, use our event hashtag when you are marketing your own session, so that can connect it with the current conversation. And if we see it and it's a good quality post, we can retweet it or share it. And use the look. You can use the colors and themes of the convention to get people's attention. Tag us in case it's something that we can share. And if you do want to use the convention logo and branding and create your own marketing material, you can reach out to me at press@nabj.org, and we can help you get access to that with approval, so that you can get it out. As I said, we do try to market some of the sessions, but we can't guarantee that we can market all 140 plus or 170 plus activities. But the more you get to us, the better it is for us to help you with getting the word out as well. And that is the circle of visibility. Thank you.
For us, thank you, Kanye. It's the circle of life. We call it the circle of visibility. Thank you so much, sincerely, for that. We want to get your questions in as the time continues. Vanessa, I'll let you lead that off. I think we have two standing by in the Q&A slot.
Yes, we do, Angela. We have two questions so far. The first question is from Tony Jones. Is there a minimum, maximum number of participants for a session? So that's for virtual, Tony, there's no minimum or maximum. However, if we are in person, there is a maximum limit of 60 people, and that's theater style seating with a head table. And that information will be in the frequently asked questions listing that you'll have access to as well. Okay. The next question is, can a session organizer also moderate a session as long as they are a member, NABJ member in good standing? And the answer is yes, definitely. If the organizer is also the moderator in the portal, you will also list that person as you'll list that person as the organizer, but you'll also list that person as the moderator, and that is acceptable. Okay. So are there any other questions we can ask? If so, please enter them into the Q&A box. Okay, Angela, I don't see any other questions.
Okay, great. While we're waiting, just in case we still have a little bit of time, while we're waiting to see if anyone else has any questions right now, just a reminder again, this is recorded. You will get the link, so you can, check it out from time to time, refer back to it. We will have another session, November 18th. More than happy to join again. We will walk through this one more time. We just want to stress that you take your time, read the things that are highlighted as you go to page and step to step in the portal. You will get through. It will be great. Remember, you can always go back to it. If you do it on a Tuesday, you need to rest on it for 2 or 3 weeks. As long as you don't miss the deadline, you can go back to it. Once you submit it, then it's in. And we know, of course, before anyone asks, there are always emergencies. We know things might happen the week before, a month before. We understand that. But we encourage you, because it also helps in the submission process, to put down your moderator, put down your prospective panelists, because then we can see exactly the direction and the things you want to do with that particular session. So I just know it will be great this year again. It's no mystery to the portal. Just got to take our time, just like we take our time when we've been ordering everything on Amazon all year. Make sure that credit card number is right. If it's 100 words, don't even try to push it to 200. Do not even call us about that, because the system will not allow it. Just to also let you know, that kind of makeup and the deadline, some of them come with what we have to do, but also we have to respect the procedure and the portal. It takes more than just sometimes people realize that, well, I just want to enter this in, and as Kanye put out, mentioned, can I just turn this over this week? Well, no, it's not quite that simple, even in the virtual world when we're dealing with different portals and different systems. So as we said before, it will open up in November 19th. Vanessa, what's that closeout date again?
Midnight PT on Friday, March the 4th.
March the 4th, that's
4th.
right, with Glee.
Yes.
Great, Christopher is on, and one of our committee members. Thank you so much, Christopher, for joining us. If there are no more questions that I want to prolong anyone's evening, we're all in different time zones. Glenn, Tia, is it anything else you want to say or add? You have the floor.
Yeah. Okay. No, I don't have anything. Again, just, you have any questions, please reach out to staff. Please reach out to our hardworking committee folks, people within your region. Even reach out to Tia and I if you have any questions. So thank you again for joining us. So.
And same for me. Just thank you guys, everyone, for coming, and we look forward to getting some great session ideas.
Well, thank you to the chairs. Thank you, of course, to the staff. Thank you, everybody who joined. If you have folks who wanted to come and said, oops, forgot, let them know. November 18th, we'll be back here, same place, same Zoom. And Kanya, of course, will be blasting out that information to the membership again, reminding everyone about November 18th. You folks have the advantage. I'll start working on my sessions tonight and get those ideas going. Once again, we appreciate it. We give thanks for the committee chairs and the committee. And so I don't see any more questions. So we can call it an evening. Thank you so much. You need anything, all you gotta do is holler. Thanks, everybody. Good night. Have a great night. Safe night.